So hello, everyone. Just to say hello to all of you. Maybe good morning or good afternoon for all of you. And this is Rinfi from Milesight. And we're going to bring a joint webinar to talk about how do we do to boost the energy efficiency with our Milesight IoT starter kits. And today, we're so happy because we have invited two of our best and great partners, and that is our Renita from Actility. How about saying hello to everyone?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Milesight and Akenza, for inviting Actility at this webinar. We're happy to work together and to bring forward our common solution in a place to the industry all over the world. My name is Brunilla Ciușcu. I'm a sales development representative at Actility, and I'm based in Paris.
Renita. So hello, Alexis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Alexis Leibrand, Head of Marketing at Akenza. Very happy to be here today and present the Akenza platform and how to visualize the data from the Milesight devices via the connectivity of Actility. Looking forward to it.
So before we get started, I have to invite some of the things we're going to have and do a short and brief introduction of the content we will have for today. So today's webinar will be separated in 3 parts, and Milesight be presenting on the first part for telling everybody about the Milesight IoT starter kits and why was it so important for some of you and how do you do to apply them. And then will be the network server from Actility side, and they will be showing you how to do the connection with the Milesight devices. And the last one, the most important part, we will have our Alexis to show you guys how to do the application with the IoT starter kits. So if you do have any questions of us, please type it in the Q&A box. For the QA box, we can check them at first, so we will highly recommend you guys to use the Q&A box, okay? And if you do have any other questions, please always ask us and we can just discuss in person, okay? So now let's get started. So just do a very quick introduction of the contents we will bring for today. So first of all, just a short introduction of Milesight, the company, and then I will be bringing why we need IoT starter kits from Milesight and how do we use all of those devices. And those kits has been separated in 3 different kits. They are focusing on different fields, such as IAQ and COWORK kit, and also the smart building one. So we'll be bringing 3 different kits, and of course there are a lot of other solutions available just to show a typical kits and examples for you. After that, we'll have a conclusion and Q&A part. Feel free to let me know all of your questions or concerns, okay? So first of all, just a very quick introduction of Milesight. As a fast-growing high-tech company, we're been delivering the smart IoT and video surveillance products for about 13 years. And we already have more than 600 employees and have all the partners all over the world, such as Actility, Akenza, our partners. And we'll be bringing a lot of things, and we're trying to make sensing insights available to make physical world better, to do the sensing part, and then to let the sensing to do the understanding the data. And then we can do the interaction. That's the point. And here we have the Milesight milestone, and I have to emphasize that we do not only have the IoT one, and we do have the surveillance one, and we are making the some traffic things or the camera things even smarter by connecting them together to utilize visual sensing stuff. All right, so now I will be bringing why IoT starter kits. So firstly, I want to share with you guys some of the common frictions, maybe some things you might meet daily, like in your smart building or in your office, like the managers, you will always find out like the high light and HVAC cost in your place. Sometimes it's like this thing, for example, your employees just have a meeting when they quit or they leave, but they forgot to turn off the AC and just let them move on. So it's the kind of thing which might cost a lot. And also, if there would not have any of the intelligent or smart solution provided, there would be a lot of other costs and will cause some problems. For instance, the second one, if you do not have anything to check or to monitor the air quality in your place, and that won't be having a very bad indoor environment, it's kind of sometimes will affect the productivity of the employees. Also, maybe you have found that there will be some time you cannot find a meeting room, right? It's kind of a time conflict or something, but you cannot manage that. So this time you're thinking about if there would be some kind of solution could do the management and do the remotely control of all of the things. And at the same time, it can save you a lot of cost. So this is the reason why we're bringing those IoT starter kits to do the kind of things in a very simple way. In this kit, we'll have all the devices from our side, and Actility would be bringing the very smart network server, and Akenza will be provided a very smart platform for helping you with having an integrated solution. So like what I said and talked before, we do have provided 3 very typical solution scenarios today. And no worries if you do have any other applications or any other solutions you wanted, just let us know, okay? And we'll be helping you with building smarter and intelligent solution. So like what I said, in each case, we'll be bringing all the stuff you need, like the LoRaWAN sensors, LoRaWAN gateway, and of course the network server and the platform. So this is a kind of use case you can try to prove out if that works and to do a kind of thing to just save and do the saving your cost. And you can try with all of those IEQ kits with the full and complete integrated solution. All right. So just after talking about this, why we're bringing the IoT solution, and here we have all the keys right here, and I'm going to just talk and to some specific solution and what's in this kit, such as what devices are in the kit and how do we use them, what's that for, just for your reference, okay? So first one I want to talk about is the IAQ monitoring one. So in this indoor air quality monitoring, we're caring about if we can do the remotely control. For example, you want to collect the data in your office or in the building and to check like how about the air quality, and also of course does it work in the monthly or yearly or weekly data report or something. This is the thing you have to utilize those very intelligent devices to do. So in the indoor air quality kit, we'll have these devices. It's in the right part. Okay, the right part, the smaller one, there are our IAQ sensors, AM103 and AM103 Lite. They are 3-in-1 sensors just for some basic detection. And the middle part, those 2 larger IAQ sensors, they are our AM300 series. They are able to detect about 9 and 7 or 8 different parameters just by your options, okay? And the left one is our semi-industrial LoRaWAN gateway. It's very high performance, and it can be connected with a lot of end nodes very stably. And of course, in each case, we will be providing the network server and the services from Actility side, and also the intelligent platform from Akenza. And Alexis will be bringing some of the real cases today, and you will see the demo, okay? So let's do a quick introduction of each product included. So the first one, like I said, it's a kind of smaller one with 2 different options. If you want the e-ink or not, you can do the options as you want. They can do the detection with some very basic sensing parameters like the temperature, humidity, and carbon dioxide. The thing I have to highlight right here is that it can support the data storage and also data retrievability, retransmission for helping you with the kind of scenario if that lose the connection with the gateway, and those data could be stored in the device. And while they connect again and communicate again, they can send back those packages as you want to secure, and there won't be any like a data loss. All right. And this one is our AM300 series. Like what I said, it would be different parameters for your option. There are 7, 8, or 9 in one sensing functions, just to choose one of them like you want based on your needs. Also, it can store more data storage, and it could also be very easy to configure and to deploy by the multicast function, all right? And here are some of the real cases I would like to share with. And this is the case in Canada, and they have deployed about 47,000 IAQ sensors in the classrooms to detect like the air quality and to use those air quality to do some actions. Like here we said, installation sequence right here, you can see that there will be set some of the triggers and also the logic. The priority one would be like carbon dioxide level exceeding 2000 ppm. There will be a trigger sending to make sure to make the air quality better. And then the level would be 1500 ppm. And then would be the other kinds of priorities. So in this kind of case, they can solve the problems like to install a lot of things and couldn't manage them together. They can choose just some of the sensors and to manage them through the gateway and to do the like the remote management of all of those sensors to check the quality of the air and how does it work, and then trigger while it reaches the threshold to secure the classroom's environment. And also I have to mention that there is a thing that if there wouldn't be anything like utilizing Wi-Fi or cellular internet, and this is the kind of thing LoRaWAN can still kind of like work together to make sure that those data will be sending to the gateways through LoRaWAN protocol. Another example would be provided here, and this kind of thing they are trying to help with building an energy efficient building, and they have utilized 4,400 Milesight sensors to helping with saving cost, because sometimes they found that there are some extra costs if they're using some cellular products because they require the SIM cards. While they're changing to use the private LoRaWAN network, they can save an extra $5 monthly for each floor. So this is a kind of thing for them to save a lot by utilizing the new kinds of technology. Okay, if you do have any questions, you can feel free to type it in the Q&A box, and we can talk and discuss later. That would also be great. Okay, so the second thing I would like to bring to all of you is a typical sample of the smart office. In the COWORK kit in the smart office, we have some of the different kinds of the devices here, such as the WS156 in the middle. This is a smart SIM panel with in total 6 buttons. And within the 6 buttons, there would be great for you to connect with other devices. And then I will be telling you another very important and very interesting function of it. And the right part one with the black circle on the middle, that is our VS121. That's an AI workplace occupancy sensor with a very high accurate weight to detect the occupancy in the room or in the office, the meeting room or something like that. And then the last one who's lying down right here, this is the smart button with one single button, but function very well with a very long battery life. And in the middle one, which is lying here, is our magnetic contact switch to help with detecting if there would be some accidentally like the door opens or the window opens like that. And the right one lying down right here is the PIR and light sensor. It's a very simple and kind of cost-effective one to detect if there would be someone occupy the room. And of course, our semi-industrial high-performance LoRaWAN gateway UG65 here. Also, the services from Actility and Akenza are provided in this kit. So like what I said, a very interesting function, actually, this is called the Milesight D2D function. So like I will just present an example for all of you. In the right topology right here, you can see there would be a WS101, a smart button with one single button, and it can function with the D2D controller device. So maybe you want to know what is D2D, right? So D2D, actually, this is called the device-to-device protocol. In this kind of case, it can talk to the other Milesight device immediately without transferring the data and send another trigger from the gateway. So this is the kind of way it can control the Milesight IoT controller UC300 right here. Since the UC300 can act as a digital transmission unit, it's got a lot of serial ports like RS485. It can connect with the motorized roller shades. So in this kind of case, the WS101 can control the shades while it controls the UC300. Does it make sense? If you do have any question, just let me know, okay? I'm gonna say, well, why does this function important or interesting? Because it can just let those devices to talk to device directly. And this is just an example. This kind of thing, it can connect with the shade. And it can also support other kinds of devices, like in your industry, like the PLC, which requires RS485. It's the same. It can do the connection for helping you to try to exchange the traditional solution into an intelligent solution. This is a good way. All right, and this is the WS156, the smart SIM panel with in total 6 buttons. And in this case, like what we talked about the smart button, and this kind of panel, it's got 6 buttons there. Like what I say, it can function and do connection with other devices, right? So if it's got 6 buttons, it can do 6 different settings right here. For example, button 1 will be triggering the light panel light on. Button 4 will be triggering like the light off. And the button 2 will be triggering the portable socket to switch it on, and 5 switch it off. And the button 3 can trigger, for example, a light, and to light on, and 6 will do the light off. This is a kind of example of it. All right, so for the other devices, I'm just telling, like the WS202 can do the occupancy detection with the PIR and light sensor, since it can also work as a Milesight D2D controller device. In this case, for example, while it detects the brightness of the outside or in your meeting room, like the brightness is kind of for example, it's in the morning now. Maybe in the morning, it didn't need any lights on here, right? So while it detects the brightness level goes up and don't require the light on, it will switch off the light. How can it do it? It can switch off the device which connected to the like the light bulbs or the light circuits or something. So this is the kind of smart connection with the D2D function for helping saving and to help you saving the energy or something in your meeting room, in your office, in your building, the same thing. And the W301 magnetic contact switch, the same thing. For example, like what I say, an IoT controller as a DTU, which can connect with an alarming system, like a buzzer. So if there would be someone who is opening the door in the very wrong time to get into the room you have all your money in, and the security box or something, and it can be triggered just immediately and to send the alarm to the device. It can do with the D2D function, and then it can trigger the alarm immediately. This is the kind of function which can solve the problem that it takes a lot of time, and sometimes you do not want the latency, right? So this is the thing. And the other one, very important one, this is our Milesight COWORK sensor, that is BS101 AI workplace occupancy sensor. The first thing is that it can do the detection in the specific area. It's got a very wide range coverage of 78 square meters. And it can be very well used in your meeting room place. Like in this meeting room, it's got BS121 here, and it can do the connection with, for example, the display in your out of the meeting room. And while we do that in the same system, it can do that, for example, while it detects there's nobody in there, and the meeting room will be released. So that means the other people could book this room again. So this is a kind of thing like you want to find a meeting room to have a meeting, but there aren't a weekend one, and you have to go upstairs and downstairs to find. If you have this kind of device, you can just do the connection and the communication remotely. So you do not have to go and to check which one is occupied. Okay, this is the same thing. And also it can support the kind of function like the people, like crowds, people counting. And it's got up to 98% accuracy rate. And the accuracy rate is not the end. It's not the optimized, because it's got the AI chip inside, so it can do the upgrading by learning. So this accuracy level will go higher if that learns enough. Okay. So this is how does the D2D work. Like what I say, it can do one-to-many control and many-to-one control. If you do have any question about this part, I can explain that. But I think I've got enough examples for you. Okay, and here's is a real case, and in this case, they have utilized the D2D protocol, and of course some of the COWORK series sensors from Milesight. Based on the data and the cost and the report from our customer, we have seen that they have saved a lot of their daily consumption from 40 to 29.6 64 daily for the average daily consumption. So this is the kind of thing, how does it work to save your cost? Because all of those COWORK series devices could be remotely controlled, and also they have the powering on, powering off system by themselves. They can decide if that over the threshold, they can turn off themselves immediately. And this is another example to utilize these kinds of COWORK series sensors in their office, in their building, to do the cost saving and also the remote management solution. Now here we have the last one, the smart building one. Also, we do have these kinds of different devices provided. The new one I didn't mention is that the left one, the back one, that is the spot leak detection sensor EM300 SLD. That would be great for doing the water leakage detection. Water leakage detection, and to do with like put it in the server room to make sure there won't be any water leakage, and it can trigger and send you the alarm immediately while it detects the water. Okay, and of course it can be triggered with the D2D protocol. And the UC300 I've mentioned a lot. It's a IoT controller. Actually, it can transfer your traditional device into a LoRaWAN device, if that can be connected with the various serial ports. So let's see, here are all the serial ports it's got on its on its body. It's got a lot of different serial ports, so it can be connected with all of the devices which supports those ports and supports those serial protocols. And in this case, it can make those traditional devices into a smarter one, and to do the Milesight D2D at the same time. And this is what we mentioned, the spot leak detector. It could be able to maintain impairment, to do the impairment control. And of course, it can be available with the D2D protocol and has a very long battery life. Okay, so if you do have interest in any products we've mentioned, and you do have questions, like I didn't mention them clearly, so you can let me know, okay? And here we have our high performance UG65 semi-industrial LoRaWAN gateway for diversified applications. Here we have listed all the great capability of it. I have to emphasize again, it's got very high compatibility with a lot of different like network server, for example, from Actility side, and could be available with connecting with platforms like Akenza's platform, and it's got multiple backhauls for doing the for doing the data failover things. For example, the Ethernet, the Wi-Fi, and cellular available. Okay, and of course we do support the BMS system and to help with transferring and decode the data of LoRaWAN sensors and map the sensor data into backnet objects to make it function better in the BMS system, and of course in the smart building one. So if you want to know more detailed information, just let me know, okay? And here we do have some successful stories to helping with changing or transferring the traditional situation scenarios into an intelligent one with LoRaWAN and protocol LoRa technology. In this case, they utilize the spot leak detector to detect if there would be any water leakage. Since they're in a very high density building, if there would be a leakage that might be penetrating the wall and to get into the other floor, so it might cause a lot of problem and to cause a lot of money of that. So they're doing this with the spot leak detector to help with, to make sure there aren't any water leakage. All right, I think I presented all the information I wanted to talk for today. And here are the very highlighted benefits of Miles IoT starter kits. Like you can see, they do have very high energy efficiency with real-time data transmission, and they're very convenient to do. So if you have any interest with some of the devices I mentioned or some solutions you want to apply, but I didn't mention, you can let me know. I can recommend you some of this possible solutions, okay? So if you do not have questions, I will just transfer to Actility, okay, to let her tell us what's the great part about the network server, okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Let me just share my screen. Et voila. Do you see everything clear? Yes, fantastic. Okay, so let's start with a small introduction of Actility. Actility is a world leader in LPWAN. We are a software company providing IoT network connectivity. If you wish, you can imagine us as the mediation layer that glues the physical world, so sensors, devices, and the people through application dashboard. We also provide IoT geolocation through our Abiway subsidiary. Actility enables operators and utilities companies to provide global public wireless network connectivity, as well as the industrial enterprises who wish to benefit from the private wireless IoT network. Well, in simple words, we sell to IoT operators like Comcast, Total, Orange Mobile, KPN, and to enterprises like Continental or Volvo. Industrial IoT and smart building sector leaders usually tell us that they are worried that they're facing too many issues when offering new solutions, new IoT solutions to their customers. And the customers, in the other side, they're also anxious due to the expensive cost of operation. Among the main reasons for that are the fact that they are still bound to offer non-autonomous power-based and wired solution. I think you might have faced this issue too. Additionally, IoT, industrial IoT and smart building sectors leaders also told us that they are afraid of moving to another IoT wireless solution because they're facing different problems. Although they did test a different solution between a mix of hardware and software recognized solution, like for example, Wi-Fi protocol, which is a poor penetration and coverage, or MBUS, which has a limited ecosystem offering. So although often people tell us that everything is going well, in reality, they're facing many challenges, and Actility helped them to fix this issue. To help them overcome these challenges, to help them to overcome these challenges, we offered them to move to the low power and long range solution named LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN is a low power wide area network, a type of wireless communication network that allows connected devices to have a longer range of communication capabilities at a low byte rate, which is typically used in asset monitoring and management in smart cities, industrial Internet of Things, and smart building deployments. Well, you might ask yourself now, what are the criteria that people are looking for when choosing energy optimization and smart building solution? Well, operation manager and industrial leaders usually tell us that because it is easy to deploy and provide a reliable connectivity, and also the network investment can be amortized over various verticals such as smart building, asset tracking, and environmental monitoring, their first choice is always LoRaWAN. Along with a rich ecosystem and availability of end products to ensure ROI of a network deployment, it has also provided a highly secure communication protocol above the obvious reasons. Voilà. ThingPark Enterprise is our Actility IoT enabler for private networks on customer premises or cloud deployments. It is an industrial-grade solution that can scale from one gateway to thousands of gateways and millions of devices. Currently, with more than 100 of reference already installed on industrial customer sites, it is one of the leading solutions for private IoT on-premises network solution. It has a specific design built for industrial customers and system integrators, easing the installation and upgrades on the site, along with a simple and unique user interface. Our user interface is very simple. As you can see, it's this one. This is an example of 76 devices that they are connected now in our Parisian office. But it is very easy and intuitive to understand. And under, it looks exactly like this: a robust LoRaWAN network server, advanced algorithms used by operators to manage millions of sensors and thousands of network equipment, and by industry experts to manage smaller private network servers. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know IoT projects are complex and sometimes very expensive. So lack of standardization and complex technical integration are crucial for the IoT failure sometimes for your projects that can be failed. But Actility, Milesight, and Akenza have worked strongly together to remove all these pain points and roadblockers, offering you complete pre-integrated solution. So pay attention to these two special points. Sensor data sent to the user in abstract already by the server, and connection to user application does not need any complex integration, normally required by system integrated experts. So what we actually do, and we try to do best, is to leave you to do your job, what you know how to do best, and we provide the service for you. So as you can see in this slide, in the flow, it's easy. The Milesight sensor send data via wireless, which is captured by the Milesight indoor gateway. And next, they are pushed to the on-premises local network server, which forward the message in a transparent way to the Akenza application dashboard. Through this pre-integrated simplified flow, site administrator and energy experts manage in real time any abnormal situation on site. So there is no need of any IoT expertise nor on-site visited. Nothing like that is required. A complete automatic process, leaving by far high OpEx behind you. Thank you so much for your attention. And as you can see here, there is my email. So I encourage you to get in touch with us if you have any question. And now I would like to hand over it to Alexis to walk you through the Akenza dashboard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brunilda. Let me quickly share my screen. I'm happy to now take over and present the Akenza platform and how to visualize the data in the Akenza platform. Do you see my screen? Yes? If you have any issues, just stop me, otherwise I'll continue. The Akenza platform is an IoT platform that enables to connect devices, different types of sensors and machines, such as the devices from Milesight, to the cloud and visualize this data in the cloud via different connectivity technologies, in this case, LoRaWAN and the network from Actility. And all this data is then available in the Akenza platform. This means that the data from these sensors is decoded and can be visualized in the Akenza platform directly. Now, some might want to process the data further. They can do it in Akenza. We have a rule engine for that. Or they can also send this data to other ERP systems or cloud service analytics. The Akenza platform is based on a low-code approach, so it's very easy to use. You don't need to be a technical expert. You don't need to be a programmer to use it. And you can start from one device and later scale to hundreds or thousands based on the same technology. Obviously, we're here to support, and we have a documentation online that will guide you through the steps to connect your devices and to visualize the data. So we have a large number of customers that use Akenza in different projects, in different IoT use cases. And for example, with Zurich Insurance, we have a certain number of smart building, smart office cases with more than 2,000 sensors in their headquarters. And the infrastructure is the same for the different use cases that this customer deployed. So we're talking occupancy monitoring, desk and meeting room, or dynamic cleaning of the washroom, or indoor air quality measurements. But let's see how it looks like in action in the Akenza platform. So let me switch to the Akenza portal. I hope you see my screen still. So here we're in the Akenza platform, and this is the workspace overview. The workspace overview is your IoT project, if you want. So inside your company, you can have different workspaces that correspond to different projects, or in this case, different buildings, for example. At this moment, I have 6 devices connected. But if you're starting with a new project, the first thing that you need to do is to connect your Actility account to Akenza. And for this, you go under integrations. And as you can see, I already did it previously. But if you had to do it from scratch, it's a couple of minutes really. You select Actility here and enter your credentials, and that's done. You have your account from Actility that is synchronized with Akenza. Now, the second thing that you need to do is to tell Akenza what kind of device you want to use and what to do with the data. So for that, we have our data flows. The data flows, they tell Akenza what's the data processing chain in the platform. So if I look at this Actility Milesight AM103 data flow, it's one that I created before the webinar. As you can see, it's a very simple process. You don't need to program anything. It's just about selecting a device connector, which is nothing else that your connectivity technology, in this case, LoRaWAN, supported by Actility. The second step is to select your device or your payload decoder, if you want. In this case, a Milesight AM103, and we see that this device has different values. It measures temperature, humidity, and CO2. And the last step is to store the data in the Akenza database so that we can visualize the data afterwards. Alternatively, I can also in parallel send the data to Azure IoT Hub, Google Pops Hub, or even emails, SMS, or MS Teams. That's always possible, and it runs in parallel. All right, so when I have done this data flow, it takes me maybe 2-3 minutes maximum. I have my data processing chain that is defined in Akenza, and I can start connecting my sensors. So for that, I just need to enter the keys of the device that are supplied by Milesight, select the data flow that I just created, and the device will appear in my asset inventory. And here I see that I have this Milesight AM103 that is connected to the Akenza platform. And if I go in this device, I can see in real time what are the measurements that are transmitted to the Akenza platform. I can check, for example, what was the temperature in the last hour, in the last 24 hours. And for someone that is a bit more tech savvy, I have access to the metadata of the device, the different message logs also that are forwarded by this device. Now, this is interesting to visualize what's happening with one device, if it's connected properly, if we receive the data well. But the next step would be to visualize the data coming from several devices in order to generate insights about my office or my building. So for that, I go under the dashboard builder. And this dashboard builder will help me create my own dashboards with the devices that I want. So we have a few templates, but I already created one for this webinar, and it is based on this Milesight device that we just saw, the AM103. And as you can see here, I really have an easy drag and drop interface that will allow me to display the data the way I want. So I have access to KPIs, metrics, such as these blocks here, or time series, where I can display more than one data. Obviously, I also have bar charts or tables, and I can really display the data coming from different devices and structure it the way I want. As you can see, it's extremely easy to manipulate those charts. I can just go under one component, select edit, and if I want to change this bar chart into a timeline, I can just do it that way. I can also change the source if I don't want to display the CO2, but now the temperature measurement of that device, can do it in a click, or I can also select other devices from my asset inventory. And this is done in a couple of minutes without prior technical knowledge. I can always add other components to the dashboard. And finally, I can generate a public link and share it with my colleagues or any particular stakeholder that might be interested in this dashboard. So as you can see, creating a dashboard connecting devices to the Akenza platform via the Actility network is extremely easy. Can be done in 1 or 2 hours. And you don't need extensive technical knowledge to do this. It can be done with someone that has maybe domain knowledge, that knows a little bit about where to place the devices in their building, but you don't need programming skills to do this. And obviously, everything that I've shown here, we have tutorials for this in our documentation, and we're happy to support you when you start playing with the platform. Thank you very much. I hope this was clear to everyone, and I'm happy to answer your questions now.